an honor being here because I'm a Mumbaikar, and Kalagoda Arts Festival I think is one of the largest and one of the most reputed arts festival in the world, if I'm not mistaken, if not in India, and so always an honor and pleasure to be here.
How was the response of the audience to the show?
Amazing! It was a sold out show, and people were, young kids, older people, people from all ages were there, and we had a great time, and also we had a great lineup of comedians, so we had great fun.
So, any story you have which happened at Kalagoda?
No, so as a Mumbaikar, I have attended Kalagoda Art Festival as a participant. Like I remember standing in queues, watching other shows. So it feels great that I've got a chance to perform here, and I think which, as I said earlier, is a very prestigious part. Thank you, thank you.
I feel very pretentious. It's amazing. This entire bougie crowd is what I live for, what I strive to perform in front of. So I'm just very grateful that y'all have certain airs about yourselves. So yeah. The first girl I ever asked out on a date, I took her to Kalagoda, the first Kalagoda festival that had happened. And so yeah, that's really nice. Am I that old? Yeah, I am that old. But yeah.
So the audience, how was the reaction of the audience with your set?
Oh, they hated it. I bombed. I was meant to bomb. But it is okay. I learn and it'll get better eventually. Yes. Uh, I wanted to say something so inappropriate, but no, thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure, and hope to see you all next year as well. Thank you so much. काला घोड़ा आर्ट फेस्टिवल मेरे को जब पता चला कि मैं इधर परफॉर्म करने वाला हूँ तभी मैं बहुत शॉक था क्योंकि मैं 10 साल से काला घोड़ा आर्ट फेस्टिवल अटेंड कर रहा हूँ और ये बार एज एन आर्टिस्ट अटेंड कर रहा हूँ तो और भी मेरे लिए हाई था वो है ना यही पीक है मेरा करियर का मेरे को लग रहा है मेरे को तो मज़ा आया ऑडियंस भी हंस रही थी ताली वाली बजा रही थी तो मुझे उनके रिस्पॉन्स से तो मुझे मज़ा आया तो आई थिंक अच्छा है क्या मैंने तारीफ नहीं करना चाहिए मैं रैपर नहीं हूँ ठीक है
What's the one word that's synonymous for you with
आर्ट मुंबई या मेरे को फर्स्ट टाइम मालूम पड़ा कि इतने बड़े बड़े इंस्टॉलेशन मैंने ज़िंदगी में देखे ही काला घोड़ा में थे तो मेरे को लगता है कि मैंने कभी कहीं नहीं देखा था सिर्फ स्टैचूज़ देख रहे थे इंडिया मुंबई में लेकिन आर्ट इंस्टॉलेशन और क्या क्या मैसेज देता है एक पर्टिकुलर आर्ट और आर्टिस्ट का स्टोरी बहुत ही इंस्पायरिंग है आर्ट या काला घोड़ा इंस्पायरिंग ठीक है
It's great. I think I've aged at Kalagoda Arts Festival. I've been doing this for the last, I don't know, 5-7 years. Every year I've been performing, and it just gets better from like performing at a bar. This time at an auditorium. So level up हुआ है. मेरा के फेस्टिवल का पता नहीं किसका तो हुआ है. With Kala Ghoda, what is synonymous? To be, I mean, I would actually say a very like cliche nostalgia thing, but like college life, because when I was in college in South Mumbai, and I used to always like bunk classes and be at Kala Ghoda for like 5-7 days, watch everyone perform, and like everything. So yeah. Add nothing. It's the best festival in the world, guys. Edinburgh is like some fifth, sixth because they don't call me. Kalagoda calls me, so it's the best festival, guys. Yeah. Done? Okay. Thank you.
Arts Festival?
It feels great, yeah. I've come here. It's not my first time actually. I've come here a few times before, but yeah, it's been great. Yeah, it's always cool to also show off to other people and yeah, this is a good thing to put on my resume if there's any. Yeah.
Okay. What's the one thing when someone says Kalagoda Arts Festival, what's the one thing that comes to you?
Actually, I've always shopped a lot from here. So that's the one thing that I guess I'll get some like funky stationery or like cool like artwork and postcards and all that. I usually go hunting for that. I did that last year. I'll hopefully do that this year. Yeah.
Any memories you have with Kalagoda Arts Festival?
Yeah, actually, so the first time I was performing here, I was very excited. And it's actually huge, That's how, like, my parents also took me seriously because of it. And I did that, and वो उतना अच्छा नहीं गया था. So I was really, like, till the next time I went, I was upset about it. But yeah, otherwise, great memories always. No, like excited to see what the schedule is. See if I can go catch some maybe like a heritage walk or something. I have my eye on one of those. Yeah. Thank you.
How do you feel being here at Kalagoda Arts Festival?
I feel very nice. I think this is my fourth time here, and actually the first time that I started doing stand up, my first year, one of the first few shows I did was at Kala Ghoda, and that time I think it used to happen at a different pub. So it's really cool. It's really nice. Excited to be here. The audience is always great, and you get to see a lot of new art also. So that way it's nice. Okay, thank you.
At Hi, my name is Sonali Thakkar, and you're watching me at Kalaghoda Arts Festival 2024 edition at YP Chavan Auditorium.
How do you feel being here?
Lovely. I have had a long association with this festival, and this festival always brings joy to my life. And yeah, that's joy. That's what I'm feeling. I heard a lot of laughter and claps, so I think it went well. Yeah.
What's the one word that's synonymous for you with Kala?
As I said, joy. That is one word that's synonymous with Kalaghoda, and because I've been coming here since I was like a baby, so tradition. That's also one thing, and art. They put the art in Kalaghoda Arts Festival. Yeah, thank you.
It's amazing. This was my first time here, तो फिर वो तो बहुत बड़ा experience था मेरे लिए. Yeah, so really good. थोड़ा सा intimidating था, but यार venue and all is really great. तो फिर मस्त लगा. वो the audience was mixed, तो मुझे लगा था फिर कॉलेज के बच्चे होंगे, but it was mixed. तो फिर वो भी एक experience था कि कैसे handle करना, but it was really nice. वो काला घोड़ा तो बचपन में कॉलेजेस और ऑल में वही रहता था कि काला घोड़ा जब भी आता कि व्हील को काला घोड़ा टाइम पास करने वगैरह एग्जीबिशन भी, और मेरी मॉम के भी थोड़े बहुत एग्जीबिशन रहते थे यहाँ पे, तो फिर वो टॉक था आसपास की काला घोड़ा बहुत सुना था, बट फर्स्ट टाइम आई गॉट टू परफॉर्म हियर. होपफुली आगे भी मिले. इट वाज रियली नाइस. या दैट्स रियली गुड.
It is amazing. It has always been my dream to perform here, and finally, I'm here for the first time, and it was so amazing and super exciting. Audience, I saw mixed reaction and late reactions because I talk about my identity and everything. But it was fun. They loved it. I thought they might not know what I'm talking about, but they totally understood what I said and they were enjoying it, and I love that. I mean, this is gonna be my forever like number one memory, obviously. But when I moved here in Mumbai for the first time, Kala Ghoda is what everybody used to talk about, and yeah, I never thought I would get to perform here. So this is like my biggest memory of it.
And I'm very happy to be able to be in conversation with Ranjit Hoskote and Daisy Rockwell. This has a very interesting story from my childhood, which is when, like many of you know,
said goodbye completely to my career and went back to artwork, which is something that I had done long before. And then fast forward to, I think, 2012, I received an email from a graduate student at NYU, and he said he had just translated a play from Urdu about Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and I had painted some portraits of Jinnah, and he said he wanted to use one for the cover of the book. And I said, okay, fine. And then he started telling me over email about his dissertation about progressivism in Hindi and Urdu and in Russian literature. And so finally I said, well, not that it's important, but I did write a book about some of that once in my past. And then it turned out he actually knew that. And he'd used the painting as an excuse because I had been so publicly negative about academia that he thought he couldn't get me to. But anyway, this is all going somewhere. So then he said, why aren't you translating? You should be translating. And I said, oh, I've put all that behind me. And he said, well, there's this editor at Penguin India, Shiva Priya, who is really interested in classics. And you should send her. I had a full manuscript of short stories by Upendra Nath Ash that I just had tried to publish years before and gave up. Nobody would take it in India or anywhere else. And so he said, send it to her. So I did, and she took it. And that was this act of kindness because he was just a random person. Me just a little bit because I felt so little encouragement to be a translator that I had completely dropped it. And then Shivapriya took this, and then after that I started to translate all the time because you can't, it's very hard to create work if you don't feel like it's going to leave the house, you know, like if you make lots of paintings but no one will show them, then what's the point? Like only very eccentric people are able to feel gratified by that. So that was how, like, I owe my translation career to this person who didn't really intend anything by it. He was just, you know, kind of a fan of the book that I had written out of my dissertation.
A couple of evenings ago, and I pointed to this seemingly derelict building, and I said, this used to be the British Council Library. And she looked at it and said, that hulk of a building? I said, alas, yes. Or the Goethe Institute just across the road, the Center for Education and Documentation. What I'll always be grateful for is the value that was placed not only on the books and the resources, the journals that were made available, but also on the peer-to-peer education that evolved in all of these places. You learned a lot more from those dialogues than you did from a syllabus.
So that's fascinating because yes, we are right next to Elphinstone College and Jahangir Art Gallery.
I can think of a range of early mentors. Nissim Ezekiel. I mean, my father literally took me to Nissim. This was a very traditional sort of introduction into this world. And Nissim was encouraging but not uncritical. So when I use the word mentor, I use it advisedly. These were tough cats. Nissim Ezekiel, Dom Moraes, Geef Patel, Dilip Chitre. But it was a blessing to have received their generosity, their knowledge, the way in which they socialized me and certainly many people in my generation into the world of letters, if you will. And what was very, very special about that, and a little later Aga Shahid Ali, who was incredibly generous. I mean, the review that he wrote of my first book of poems at a time when that book was really not very warmly received, actually played a great role in just keeping me going. It wasn't uncritical, but it pointed out the strengths. It was really a model for reviewing. The previous panel was talking about book reviewing, and you know, at a time when book reviewing was blood sport, Shahid's review really shone forth in this with this.
And now it's the opposite, right? It's
no comments. I have 2 new books. I'm not saying a thing about reviewing right now.
Brilliant, every word.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But just to round that off, I think what was vital there is that it was an ethos that was effortlessly and without wearing it on its sleeve, it straddled the arts.
So, I'm very happy to be back at the Kala Ghoda Arts Festival. I curated the literature section for 5 years and have participated in this festival since its very beginning. So to me, it's an organic part of my life and my annual schedule. And also, I pretty much grew up in this area. I went to college at Elphinstone, behind us. So this festival means a great deal to me as one of our largest multi-arts festivals in the country and as a cradle for new literary expressions.
What are your memories connected to Kala Ghoda?
Oh, I came to Kala Ghoda. I would come to Kala Ghoda actually even when I was at school because my father worked at the Army and Navy building, which is in front of us, off camera. So I've been very, very familiar with this neighborhood all my life. My parents would take me to the art galleries, to the museum, and then I went to college here. So it really is, it's a lifelong narrative of knowing the institutions, the locales, the people of this place. So yeah, Kala Ghoda always has been encouraging of creativity. Jetna bookshop, for instance, Taka's, another bookshop which doesn't exist, Rhythm House, where we bought our music. So in every which way, Kala Ghoda has been this beacon of creative energy for me.
do you take back from this session today?
Oh, it's always fun to talk with Daisy because we've done public conversations before. We know each other's work well, and we share the same concerns about literature, about translation, about what it means to carry texts between languages. Pervin really drew us both out wonderfully in terms of looking at the people, the places, and the situations that have sustained us as creative agents.
Okay. Ma'am, how do you feel being here at Kalagoda Arts Festival?
I think it's very fun. I've been invited many times over the years and never been able to make it. So finally this time I realized I would be able to come. I like this small intimate space and really carefully put together panels. It's different from the big bustling festivals and I enjoy that.
So what's the one word that comes to your mind when you think about Kalagoda?
Well, I think about a big black horse, of course. Because I'm a translator.
So what do you take back from the festival?
Well, I'm not done with it yet, so I'm not sure. Right now I just have a box of jam, but I hope to take back something more spiritual in the end.
How was the interaction?
It was great to be on the stage with Ranjit because he's such an interesting and talented translator and poet. And Praveen asked wonderful questions, so it was just a really meaningful atmosphere to share our thoughts together. Yeah, okay.
It is always a delight to be at the Kalagoda Arts Festival, and compared to other festivals which are usually literature festivals or music festivals or cinema festivals, here we have a mix of all the arts, and that's what makes it so unique and so rich and layered. So that is what I enjoy the most about being at Kalagoda.
What are your memories connected to the festival?
Memories connected to Kalagoda date back to when I was studying right here at St. Xavier's College. And all of this seemed too large, too overwhelming. In fact, I would come for the panels where I thought no one else will come because I wanted to stay away from the crowds. And at Kalagoda, that's almost impossible. And so it is very ironical that now I'm right here in the middle of everything. And yeah, participating in and curating and working so closely with the festival team. It's been quite a journey.
What do you take back from today's session?
From today's session, I take back something that is very heartening, very reassuring, which is the role of community, the role of kindness, the role of mentorship in the arts. People always say writing is a lonely business. And while that is true on one hand, it's also true that it is something that is sustained by so many others. It is sustained by other writers, writers present, writers past, by family, by friends, by mentorships, residencies, professors, mentors, all of these. So that's what I take back today, that we're not alone. We're not doing this alone, although at that time it may appear that you're sitting alone in your room and writing. You have an entire tradition and an ecosystem that's silently supporting you.
Anything you would like to add?
I'm good. Thank you.